Welcome, Shila.
Thank you.
What inspired you to put your name forward as a candidate in this election?
So great question, Lisa. I will tell you that it's actually been the second time I've considered it. The first two times I was kind of had a little balance and check sheet and literally on my desk with pros and cons. And the last two questions I always asked myself was, am I prepared to put the time involved to be a counselor? And the second was, and don't laugh, but am I adult enough to do this? And I could never answer yes to that second question. Actually, to either one of those questions, to be honest. I just couldn't. And it's a hard conversation to have with yourself because you need to do this for the right reasons, not for anything else other than your community. And I honestly couldn't answer that because I like to travel and I was gone. And it changes, COVID has changed my perspective of where I want to be. So that's why.
So what do you believe, what experience will assist you in being an effective elected representative?
So I think I've been super fortunate. In some of my experience is a little on the sketchy side. I'm not going to lie. I had a great time being an adult. Like I enjoyed being an adult. And then, I probably hit early 40s and I thought, there's more to this. So I started getting more involved in my own career. I started investing in my life. And if anybody knows me, whatever I do hard. Like I go in, I am all in. So I was very fortunate to get lots of experience in HR right around the world. I've worked in the UK. I've worked for big US companies. I've been promoted to international HR manager and just very fortunate to work for these companies. And when the last company I had me sever 7,000 people in about 7 days, I thought, I don't know if I want to do that anymore. So I started HR Solutions and I started a staffing agency. And while I was doing all my international movement with HR, the US company actually paid for me to go back to university and do my immigration. So as a business owner, I believe I bring a different perspective or just a different perspective as a human being in business, to the table. Because, I think we see some great people around the table, but I love moving that forward and bringing different people to the table.
So what do you believe are the important issues that are facing our region?
So I'm so opinionated about this. So I told you my background is HR and immigration. And I'm going to tell you from my as a business owner, my biggest issue right now on the table is workforce development. Over and over again, I am struggling with my clients, with myself. I mean, currently I have 50 open positions and no one to fill them. I work with clients that, are struggling to just fill basic jobs right to top level PhD positions. So we are struggling. We're recruiting Canada-wide just because of the situation that we're in. But ultimately, we're going to end up looking at the foreign worker. And what I want to bring to the table is a great understanding of what foreign workers mean to our society and to our cultures and how we can grow our businesses with that, right?
So how do you believe your election platform will benefit and improve the lives of our constituents here?
So I think I am one of those. So right now I look like, I'm well dressed and made up. And if you see me at 7 a.m, it's a ball cap and I'm walking my dogs down Southridge Drive. That's me. So I am a very down to earth, like my filter's on right now and I'm being a good adult. But for the most part, I am everybody else. I have the same issues in life. I have the same bills in life. I have all the same things and I have to work 18 to 20 hours a day because I've got me, right? So I've got me, so I get it. So I think that because I have the same issues as everybody else, no one can ever turn around and say, you don't understand. I'm like, yeah, I can actually. So, and I can tell them an example and I can give them, they can walk into my life and they can see that I'm speaking authentically and I'm not giving them lip service. So I think that authenticity and that realness is something I can bring to the table because you talk to anybody, I struggle with not being authentic. It gets me in trouble, but.
So what strategies and specific policies would you suggest that address the pillars in the Chamber's Vote Prosperity platform?
Mm-hmm.
Those include innovation and a competitive strategy, infrastructure development, image and branding, workforce development,
mm-hmm.
and business and financial supports.
So one policy, can I address a few?
You can address a few.
Okay. So as a business owner, the very first thing I find overwhelming here is our tax gap. So I was fortunate enough to get a great building downtown Medicine Hat, a beautiful church that I was, again, lucky to renovate. So I'm lucky. I walked in at a great time in 2005 downtown, and it was a great market, and it was my market. So I lucked out. But as I bring different clients in, when I do immigration, for example, and I bring somebody in that is a physician or an engineer or, anybody that's skilled, and all of a sudden their spouse wants to start a small business and they start walking down our streets, and we've got some derelict buildings, we've got some issues. So where am I leading with that? I'm leading that we need to have some policies on, some of the buildings downtown, and not trying to force landlords to, spend money, but I'm a landlord. So I have some responsibility around my building, just like your home. You just can't do whatever. You have some responsibility in your community to make sure that, your building is properly maintained and taken care of. And I think we need to do that down here. So when I look at our beautiful downtown, you gotta remember I was born here. So I've got pictures from a decade that we won't mention that are stunning, but they don't look the same. And I don't think we're doing ourselves any service. And when we bring new business in and they walk down those streets, and you walk down Station House and it's beautiful, and then you keep walking and you stumble into buildings that, are falling apart, I think we're not putting our best foot forward, which is our image. And your image is your brand. So what do we want to sell to ourselves? So I'm very fortunate to bring people in from all over the world that have a different perspective, and they say, this is beautiful, but. And so I wanted them to just say, this is beautiful, and not the but.
Excellent. So as we conclude the interview today, do you have any closing thoughts, comments, insights for the voting public that you'd like to share?
Oh God, yes. Okay. So what I would love to tell people to do, there's just so many candidates, and there's so many good people, and there's so many rationales out there. And I am encouraging everybody. I know it's hard to go onto everybody's website, call, text, do whatever to ask your question. And the other thing I just want to say is, don't get caught up in one issue. There is, obviously a pandemic going on, and I see people deciding their votes on one issue. And there's more to sitting around that table than being either pro or against. So if that's what you need to take off the table to look at who's the best candidate, then do that. Second, I really want to help people understand that when you pick different diversity and different people around that table, what happens is you get different results. And diversity isn't about picking, 2.5 people that look like me. Diversity is about picking people that have different experiences and different backgrounds, because then you have different decisions and you have different conversations. And if you look at like studies by Forbes and some of the, the really good studies out there, the companies that have the best diversity have the highest success rates. So I am urging people, don't do the normal. Talk to us. Find out, where do you want your city to be? Where do you want your grandkids to grow up? What do you want? And pick that.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time today,
You're
Shila.
welcome. Thanks for having me.